You work for the Timberwolves by any chance?
Hot kettle. This is
Yeah.
Nikhil's playmaking downhill. And just like also his finishing at the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, how have you seen him progress in those areas, and was it kind of open up for you when he can?
Yeah, I mean, he's mastered the balance of being aggressive, but then also changing speeds and picking his spots. I think a lot of times, when he was younger, he would just kind of go like almost out of control without a plan. I think now he understands where his like escape route's going to be. His finishing is much improved from different levels, and just kind of changes speeds really well. Which is, I think, something that all like young players need to really learn. And once they master it, it helps you in a lot of ways to create angles, you create windows, and then just kind of keep the defense off balance.
Does that come from experience, maturity, like back growth, or is there other things that?
I mean, it comes from a lot of work in player development.
Yeah.
And James White has been really, really good. They've had a phenomenal pairing for the last couple of years. Not just in terms of their skill, but also mindset, approach, just temperament, like really kind of complement each other well. So that's been really a home run. But yeah, I think a lot of it's just, Nikhil kind of, being more comfortable with who he is as a player, which shows up in a lot of ways. And just understanding like what his strengths are, playing to his strengths.
It seemed like you guys got more Mike, Rudy, empty side pick and rolls.
Yeah.
You didn't really see much of the year. Did that require like intentional play calling to get to that, and how do you keep that rolling?
A little bit. I mean, some of that stuff, like it's been a big part of what we do. So teams have been kind of jamming it up. So we've got to try to get to it in different ways now. But yeah, we have to be more intentional about it. I think it happened. It happened naturally a lot easier last year and a half. And so I think shame on me for not like putting a spotlight on it earlier, just because a lot of other kind of things we've been trying to sort out. So we've kind of gone away from it a little bit, but we need to get back to it.
See, just like the widespread impact that has of that gets an attention here, and it seems to open things up for other people too.
Yeah, no doubt. And now that Mike's making shots, he looks like he's kind of rounded into form so far. It's a dual threat.
You had 4 days last week and 3 days this week, which is unusual in the NBA. You get a lot out of that?
We've had some really good practices. I mean, today's practice was one of the best of the season. Last week, I think we found a kind of a new practice format that the team's really taken to, which you can't really do when you're practicing only here and there, but when you're able to kind of stack some practice on top of each other, I think you get a lot accomplished. So it's been invaluable for us.
Is there nothing that takes the place of scrimmaging where guys learn as many game-like situations as possible?
Yeah, I mean, like being able to go full speed lives, scrimmage, do different breakdown drills, and then kind of build it all together during practice is invaluable. It's really how you have to practice.
What was the change? What was the change in format? Yeah.
We just needed to play more. We got to play through some of these. Issues, force some of these things to happen that are happening out, and just kind of work our way through it. But it's hard to do that when you're playing like every other night, and then you have these, it's just hard to have these like up and down practices.
A lot of guys at the bench want these practices too, don't
yeah,
they? Because it's a chance to show you what they can do.
Yeah, that's been the other benefit is those young guys get the chance to play, and they've been playing really well. They've played really well.
You think back when Carl was here, how underrated?
So many years ago.
How underrated was maybe the sacrifice he was willing
No,
to make?
I mean internally,
talked about it a lot.
not underrated at all. I think from the very moment that we brought in Rudy, like coming off of an All NBA year, I mean it started there. So
that was a direct hit. I gotta bring up the other recorder. You gotta jump.
Kareem has one job and he can't. Might explain the 3-on-3. Might explain the 3-on-3 performances. It was massive. Like just accommodating Rudy just from the general sense. Then having to change his game along the way. And then he never fought it. There were things that we had to learn. Obviously, we're hijacked by 50-game absence, at the end of that first year together. But coming back for the playoffs in the Denver series, I thought at that point we were really able to put our finger on some stuff that finally worked. And a lot of it had to do with, Cat making the sacrifices around it to actually make it work. So, yeah, I mean, forever grateful for that. And, not many, again, players of his caliber are going to do it with the willingness that he did and the effectiveness of it.
Because we talk so much about differences in this somewhat new group on the floor.
Yeah.
With the changes you made, 25 in or whatever. What's it kind of been like? How's this group like off the floor?
Yeah. They like each other. They have all a very similar personality in a lot of ways. And sometimes that's a good thing because it allows them to kind of easily flow with each other. But sometimes you need somebody who's going to rattle the group a little bit too. I think it's one place where, Kyle was really good at that. But we've found guys who are just learning to kind of step outside their comfort zone to do that now. But yeah, it's been a great group. But really has been highly coachable. Go about their work, very businesslike.
Has Ant been one of those guys?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ant's definitely taken that challenge and done it very, very well. Even Julius has been great. As a new guy, being vocal at the right times. And I know that's probably not his nature, but knowing that he sees what the team kind of needs.
Rudy seems like he's kind of just a top 5 defense in himself.
Yeah.
Is Carl, from the year you had him before the Rudy trade and then obviously what they're doing in New York, is him at the 5 almost like a top 5 offense in itself?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we used to call it the cheat code. It's just a cheat code to great shots, great offense, great. I mean, his ability to score at all levels and distort the floor and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's definitely a driver of great offense.
Does Jaden have some of that toughness too as he gets more maybe comfortable as a starter and who he is in the NBA? Because he seems like a tough guy out there. Does he bring that to practice or does that take a while in your career?
No, I think he's been, just because physically he might give up some pounds, he's always been tough. He's tough, he's salty, he's competitive, he's got everything you want. So that's always been there. I think just he's been able to control a lot of his emotional control has been way better. He's playing out of this world right now at both ends of the floor, being able to play physical and aggressive without fouling, staying confident in his offensive game, and actually, he's not relying or living and dying with his three-point shot just as much. He's finding ways to get other things accomplished, whether it be in transition, paint game, offensive rebounds, that kind of stuff.
Has it been a little bit eye-opening just how impactful he can be these last couple games when he doesn't have to have that primary defensive assignment?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because he's such a great defender everywhere, and he's always been one of our best rim protectors or low man defenders. So, but it's just we're lucky now. Now that we got everyone guarding on the ball at a good clip, we can look at maybe employing him elsewhere, but we also know he's really good there.
I just don't think I would have been 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
The ball, you could always account some of it for the fact that he's on the ball, but
I mean, it's the same with we've been looking at Julius rebound numbers, and some of it we put Julius in switch situations, which carries him away from the hoop. Some of it's just it's what we do to them. It's not what they're doing to themselves.